My name is Lori Wahila. I'm with a local progressive volunteer group called Indivisible Binghamton. And we are sponsoring the Science and Climate Fair along with other groups like Citizen Action of the Southern Tier, Sierra Club, the County Union Democratic Committee. And we are here today to promote science and climate change initiatives because we believe in science and we believe that we need to save our planet. We also have some Democratic candidates here who also believe in and want to promote science and climate change initiatives. So without further ado, I will have our Senator, New York State Senator Leah Webb.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Such a beautiful day for us all in the Southern Tier. Thank you all so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's the weekend. We're trying to get in as much fun in the sun while we still have summer before school starts. Yes, it's coming, y'all. But I want to thank all of today's organizers and everyone that is here because, as we know, while today's weather has most certainly been and still is very pleasant, we know we continue to experience significant amounts of inclement weather. That is not normal. To have tornadoes, to have weeks where we're having power outages week after week and so much more, experiencing significant flooding, and I could go on, but I won't. You all understand what's happening, right? Yes?
Yes.
Yes? And so we know it is due to climate change. There is no question, no doubt. There's so much data that verifies, certifies that climate change is very real and it's happening rapidly. So now what does that mean for all of us, whether you are an elected official, a candidate, more importantly, a community member, a human being that inhabits the earth or exists on the earth, we need to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
So we know that greenhouse gas emissions are caused by a number of factors. And so we have been taking steps as a state to reduce those greenhouse gases, which contributes to climate change significantly. New York State is leading some of the most boldest, I would say, policies and practices to reduce our carbon footprint and so much more. But it's not just simply that. We are also leading the charge on initiatives that pertains to cleaner fuel and energy, such as pushing for solar, right? Y'all still with me?
Yeah.
Electrification, right? These things, and of course, holding our utility companies accountable when they raise their rates on the backs of working families. I have been very vocal about all these issues and more, not only as a senator, but also as a community member. And so today's event is designed to continue to raise our awareness about not only the impacts of climate change, but also what we can do to make change to ensure that we can continue to enjoy this beautiful planet that we have. Because we only have one that we can occupy. Okay, so with that being said, some of the things that we've done, and yes, thank you for co-signing, that we've done legislatively in New York. You all are familiar with the CLCPA, which was done in 2019, which is some of the landmark policies that we have been doing here in New York, but we've been doing more. We have what's called New York Heat. Now, I know it's warm outside, and so no one is thinking about cooler weather, although we have been experiencing some cooler weather in the last week or so. But the New York Heat Act is designed to not only help with addressing our carbon footprint, but helping families to save money on their utility bills, right? So that's one. We also have enacted and been working towards the Climate Action Superfund. So pollution doesn't just happen by itself. There are folks who contribute to it and actually profit from it. And so this fund is designed to hold those polluters accountable to ensure that while they are engaging in very well documented, dangerous, and costly practices, that they have to pay for it and clean up their act. Y'all still with me?
Yes.
Okay?
Thank
so
you.
These are just two examples, and I would be remiss in this moment if I didn't lift up another important measure that we actually passed also this legislative session. And I want to thank my co-conspirator, colleague for all things good, Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo. We were successful in getting passed in both houses the bill to ban CO2 fracking.
Thank you. Thank
which
you.
is also known as hydrofracking by another name. I know all too well about this issue. When I was on city council here in Binghamton, we were successful in putting a ban in place on hydrofracking right here in the city of Binghamton, where we're standing.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
then, of course, as we know with these industries, they find many thrifty and lofty ways to find loopholes. And so this particular bill is simply closing that loophole, that supercritical CO2 cannot be used in the practice of fracking. We have already banned hydrofracking, and so I'm so proud of the work that we've been doing in this legislative session to protect our environment, which helps all of us to live healthier and safer lives today, but also for future generations. Now we're just waiting for the governor to sign the bill, so that way we can ensure that these practices don't continue to ensue. And so again, it takes all of us working together, but make no mistake, you also have to have people in office that understand these very complex issues, the challenges of climate change, the challenges of affordability for working families, and so much more. And so that's why I'm so pleased that you all are here, not only raising awareness, but encouraging our community members to take an even more active role in our democracy, to not only protect our planet, but also to save our lives and promote healthier living. So with that, I want to thank you all for your support over the years, but we have to bring it home in 73 days. 73 days. What we are doing in New York, we are leading not just in the area of the environment. We are also literally a battleground state. We are going to determine who controls the House. And so as we are excited about all of our great candidates from the top of the ballot all the way down to the local level, New York, we have a pivotal role to play on many fronts. We are called the Empire State for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Right? We like to set trends for progress. And so we're going to continue in that same vein when it comes to elections. So with that, I want to thank you all for your support. Let's bring this home in the next how many days?
73.
73 days. Absolutely. So let's do this. And please keep that applause going as I bring up my great colleague, New York State Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo.
Senator Leah Webb, everybody. Isn't she great?
Yeah.
Make sure she gets reelected. That's priority number one right now for me. So rather than repeat what Senator Webb has just so eloquently explained, I of course want to add my thank you to the organizers and everyone who is here and for the dedicated work that you do each and every day on behalf of climate change and trying to make a difference. I want you to know that our larger mission has got to be to shine a light on what Project 2025 would mean for climate change. Unless we are aware of the existential threat we are facing, for those of us who are interested in working hard on climate change, unless we understand what's in that document, which I have read, this particular section, I advise you to go in and look at this. But if you have not, I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot of what they stand for and what is explicitly talked about in Project 2025. This blueprint proposes to strip the federal government of the funds, people, and power to prevent the worst impacts of climate change. Defund the green transition. Eliminate every program, office, or administration where work is being done on climate change. Remove all remaining environmental programs. Strip every federal department of its climate goals. Weaken landmark environmental laws. Expand, this goes on, I'm only halfway through. Expand oil and gas exploration and all federal support for renewable energy. These folks aren't kidding around. And to quote our candidate for president, are they out of their minds? I mean, this is what, this is exactly.
Shameful.
Put the brakes on electric vehicles, defund climate research, roll back environmental justice initiatives, back out of all of our international climate efforts, and curtail, of all things, energy efficiency standards. What are these people thinking? Honestly.
Nuts.
So this is, while we're working on the great efforts here in New York State, we have to look at why it's important for us to support the ticket that is opposed to this and all the down ballot races, specifically for Congress and of course our races here in New York State and all the way through right to the town of Union and local offices. So please keep in mind the bigger risk we have here. We have to shine a light on this project 2025. For me, my focus has been, in addition to supporting the team on these efforts Senator Webb described, I chair the committee on agriculture and food. I am leading on the entire topic of agricultural sustainability. We passed the landmark Soil Health and Climate Resiliency Act, which is being modeled across the country. Farm Aid is coming this year to Saratoga Springs next month. Willie Nelson's Farm Aid to raise money. They actually contacted me and my Senate sponsor, Senator Hinchy, to learn more about the soil health bill, to have us come to Farm Aid and talk about the work that we're doing on sustainable and regenerative farming. Somebody has to be working that side of this equation. During the CLCPA, I made sure there was a task force specifically looking at agricultural impacts on our climate. And trust me on this, farmers want to get this right. Farmers want to be at the table. They want to participate. They want to have less impact on the environment. They want to provide food, healthy, local food for our constituents and for our families, and they want to be able to do it right, and they need the support. So for our soil health bill, for example, we now fund that. $15 million in the Environmental Protection Fund every year. And more is coming each year to make sure our farmers can learn more, and the workshops and the education we're doing around the state, they are packed with people who want to learn about no-till farming and other practices that we know can work. So this is the niche I'm working, and I'm on a fabulous team. We're going to hear from our candidate for Congress, Josh Riley, next. He has to get elected to be part of the team to defeat this project 2025, working with Senator Webb, the whole team. We are committed to this. We are deeply committed to this. Our families, our friends, our future children, generations to come, they depend on us. Let's keep our eye on the prize. We need to get those big races straightened out so the federal government can help New York State with the goals, our very big goals that we have established. Other states need to come along with us at a federal level to make it a lot easier. So thank you, everybody. And now, our candidate for Congress, Josh Riley.
How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. Can we get a big hand for Donna Lupardo? She's working so hard.
Yay!
Can we get a big hand for Lori Wahila, Linda Quilty, everybody from Indivisible who put this on. I know it's a lot of work. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So we are here, you all are here because you know what the stakes are in this election. Leah, thank you for the reminder that it's 73 days away. My God. This is all, we hear a lot about policy, and that's so important. At the end of the day, protecting our planet and fighting climate change, what it's about for so many of us is actually near and dear. It's about our kids, right? I was just talking to a young parent over here about this. My kids are here. Every day that I'm up fighting climate change and fighting to protect our environment, that's what it's about. I want my kids to grow up on a planet with clean air to breathe, clean water to drink. I'm so proud that in this campaign for Congress, I'm the candidate that was endorsed by the Sierra Club. I'm the candidate that was endorsed by the League of Conservation Voters. I'm the candidate that was endorsed by the Natural Resources Defense Council, because fighting climate change is an existential threat for my kids' future. But what we also know, especially here in the Triple Cities, it's an existential threat, but it's also a huge, huge opportunity to rebuild the middle class.
Yes.
I talk a lot, you guys have heard in my commercials and in basically every time I talk a lot about the history of this place, right? I talk about the history of the Triple Cities. And I talk about that because I am proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm not talking about it because of nostalgia and focusing on the past. I'm talking about it because the history of this place is what makes me so hopeful for our future. You think about what we have done, what people have done with their hands, punching a clock in this community. When fascism was trampling Europe, what we did in the Triple Cities, our great-grandparents, they made the boots that our soldiers wore to save the planet and trample fascism. When we went through a Great Depression and Social Security started getting up and running, think about that. 1930s, trying to get a program as big as Social Security up and running, and we don't have computers? How are you ever going to do that? You know how we do it? We did it. Here. The predecessor to IBM here in Endicott made the punch cards that allowed the Social Security Administration to get up and running. We did that. We did that here in the Triple Cities. You think about putting a man on the moon. That wasn't something that happened way off in outer space that you learned about the next day in the newspaper. It happened on your TV in your living room because across upstate New York, we made those television sets that brought the whole country together in a defining moment that taught us we have more in common than divides us. We did that here in the Triple Cities. We make things the world needs. And right now, more than anything, the world needs to fight climate change. And so what that means for us, let's start making stuff again. Donna and Leah are working so hard, and I can't wait to join their team to rebuild manufacturing in the Triple Cities, not just because we're going to make stuff, we are going to make the things the world needs to save itself from climate change, and we're going to do it right here with good jobs, good wages, and a strong, strong middle class. We're going to do it right here.
Yes, thank you.
But here's one thing we have got to do to get that done. We have got to overturn Citizens United. You guys know Citizens United. It is the Supreme Court case that unleashed a flood of dark money into our politics. Right now, why are we dealing with climate change in the way we're dealing with it? It's because the oil industry, the fossil fuel industry, has spent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars buying politicians in Washington. And they are getting their money's worth. I'm running against somebody who took millions of dollars in benefits and support from the oil industry and then turned around and one of his first votes in Congress was to give more tax breaks and more subsidies to the oil industry. They're already making billions of dollars in profits every quarter, and this guy goes down and votes to give them billions more. We've got about a 42% child poverty rate in the city of Binghamton, one of the worst child poverty rates in the country, and this guy's giving tax breaks to the people who are burning our planet and neglecting our kids here at home. No more. No
That's
more.
right. That's right.
So this is what we are going to do in 73 days. In 73 days, we're going to win an election. We're going to overturn Citizens United. We are going to rebuild the middle class in Broome County. We are going to save our planet from climate change, and we are going to do it together. I love you guys. Thank you.
Together. Thank you.
Okay, folks, so we've got to re-elect Donna Lupardo and Leah Webb to New York State Senate and Assembly, and we have to elect Josh Riley to our Congress. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd also like to call up another candidate. We have Gay Knopf, who's running for Town of Union Supervisor. And for those of you who don't know, the Town of Union here in Broome County is the biggest municipality in Broome County, also the biggest municipality in Josh Riley's district. So we're very important to this campaign. And so we want to make sure you vote blue all the way through on the ballot. So here is our candidate for Town of Union Supervisor, Gay Knopf.
Yay. Yay, Gay.
Greetings, everybody. So some of you probably know me. I ran a solar energy company in Endicott for 34 years, and I'm happy to say that New York State has taken the leadership position on the deployment of solar energy. That's really great, and they continue to be a leader in that. We're in an excellent position to continue that leadership, and I'm happy that the Town of Union is and can continue to be part of the solution for climate change. There are quite a few solar arrays going in the Town of Union.
That's right.
Right?
Thank you.
And so we want to continue that. I also wanted to just read to you a little bit. I did some testimony to the CLPCA a couple of years ago, you know, the climate initiative in New York State. And here's what I said to them. I said, we cannot afford to dither around further trying to decide if we should allow fossil fuel companies to continue to destroy our only home for money.
That's
You
right.
should have seen the dirty looks I
That's
got
right.
from some of the fossil
No
fuel
more.
people in the room. So we already heard about what's going on. I think we're all well aware of climate change, but you know, climate change is a very local issue to us. We had 2 historic floods over the course of just 10 years, and this affected me personally. There was, in 2011, the electrical supplier we used for our solar business was underwater. That was very unpleasant. We had to rescue equipment from their floor. My elderly mother, I had to evacuate her from her house in Endicott. Imagine that, right? The floodwaters are rising and you've got an elderly person, you have to move somewhere else. So this climate change thing affects us directly, right here. It's not some faraway thing that we don't have to worry about. It's happening here. On August 5th, we had a high wind event, and it ripped the roofing right off the porch of my tenant's house.